ਬਾਹੋਂ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਗਾ ਲਿਆ ਬਈ ਬਾਹੋਂ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਗਾ ਲਿਆ ਉੱਠ ਤੂੰ ਭਗਤ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਵੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਸੌਣ ਦਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਸੁੱਤੀ ਤੱਕ ਅਧੀਰ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਕੀਤੇ ਵਾਅਦੇ ਤੇ ਲਾਹੌਰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਪੁੱਜੇਗਾ ਮੰਜੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸੌਂ ਕੇ ਮੌਜ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਲਿਆ
ਪ੍ਰਵਾਸੀ ਟੈਲੀਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਜੀਵ ਤਵਨ ਦਾ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ, ਨਮਸਕਾਰ, ਆਦਾਬ। ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਬੇਅਰ ਕ੍ਰੀਕ ਪਾਰਕ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਿ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਸਟ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਆਫ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਫੰਡ ਰੇਜ਼ਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਔਰ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਸਟ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਆਫ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਐਲਿਜ਼ਬeth ਰੌਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਅਟੈਂਡ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਆਏ ਆ। ਸੋ ਐਲਿਜ਼ਬeth, ਫਸਟ ਆਫ ਆਲ ਮਾਈ straight question to you is when we look at the polls, we look anywhere, so the Communist Party of Canada is nowhere. So why are you putting your candidates?
Well, because we have something to say, and we think we have solutions to the big problems that are facing working people in Canada, and we think the other parties don't have those solutions. So what we, and you know, one of the reasons we're not polling is because we're not getting any kind of attention with the very few exceptions, including yourself. And if Canadians knew on a much wider level what kind of policies we were advocating, I think we would be polling much higher than we are.
So why the media is not giving attention to you?
Well, because I think that certainly the CBC its funding is determined by the government in power, and they know that neither the Liberals nor the Conservatives want to give any attention to us because we underline all of the things that they don't have. So, for example, we think that Canada needs an independent Canadian foreign policy, not the current policy, which is about regime change. It's about making war on other countries. It's about overthrowing the government of Venezuela, for example. It's about passing motions of genocide when there's absolutely no evidence of genocide in China. And our view is that this is a very dangerous direction. There is no reason why Canada's foreign policy should be dictated by the U.S., and that's clearly what's happening. We're also spending huge amounts of money on militarism, on NATO, on NORAD, on fighter jets and warships. Those funds should be used instead for job creation. They should be used for a national child care program. They should be used to expand employment insurance so that all the unemployed, while they're unemployed, are able to collect employment insurance. And
so how you differentiate your policies first with the Liberal government? So specifically internal policies, how people's life will be better if your party comes to power. How will you be doing?
Well, we say that there needs to be a recovery which is not based on profits, but is based on full employment policies, that the country goes back to work, that wages rise and living standards improve. That's the measure of a recovery. And so the kinds of things that could be done and should be done, the Canadian government should get back into the business of building affordable social housing. There's a crisis of housing in Vancouver and across the country, for that matter. And one of the reasons is that it's all in private hands. It's in private builders, private developers, private landlords, and it's completely unaffordable. And so if the government were to build 1 million units of affordable social housing, which we are calling for, it would also put a lot of people to work, and in construction, but also in things like building appliances, building furniture, all the things that you need in a house once you build it. And these houses would be built according to green standards. So we are looking at, we're looking at a solving the problem of unemployment, also solving the problem of unaffordable housing, and also the question of climate change. How do we
Elizabeth, considering the polls and media doesn't give your party attention, so people have to choose a prime minister. What do you think then people, which is a better choice between Jagmeet than, I don't know, Toole and Justin Trudeau, considering that Communist Party is not in a position to come to the power?
Well, we're running 26 candidates, so no, I don't expect to be prime minister. But I also am not going to endorse any of them because I think that the NDP is cleaving far too close to the Liberals. They used to be a socialist party; they aren't anymore. It's hard to tell what the differences are between them and the Liberals. We think the greatest danger is the Conservatives, and it's because they are so pro-war. They are also, in favor of these big expenditures on warplanes, etc. They are opposed to any action to reduce carbon emissions. They are talking about privatizing healthcare. So these are the greatest danger. But there's no solution with the other ones either. And what we want to see is another minority government. We think the best outcome of this election would be another minority government, but with a large progressive bloc, including communists, that can push these policies like, for example, affordable social housing. We think students should not have to pay tuition to go to university. We think that long-term care, where so many people died because it was private, should all be in public hands. It should be part of Medicare. We should have pharmacare. We should be nationalizing the pharmaceutical companies. We need a national child care program, not just a promise, but a real program that is publicly run and that is, we say, it should be available for free for users.
But if you see, wherever the communist parties were in power, mostly the system failed. And even we look at China. So China is run by a communist party, but it's all now, a lot of stuff is private and there are big private capital there.
Well, I think that, you have to look at what have they accomplished, that they've taken 700 million people out of deep poverty, and they have developed their country in a period of 40 years from virtually a feudal economy into an advanced, a developed economy. That's not nothing. And the working people in China have benefited from that. Now, what their future direction will be, that's up to the people of China. So but I know that for Canada, the direction that we're taking is the wrong direction. A lot of people there are more than 1 million people out of work today here.
Elizabeth, which candidates you have here in this meeting you are supporting, and what are your who are your candidates you think that they can probably win or can give a good fight?
Well, I think that we are campaigning to win. Whether we're going to win in this election or not is another question. We have to build up a base, but we know that our party has increased in size by more than 50% in the last year, and this is an indication that many working people are finding that capitalism isn't working for them. The fact that there are 1 million unemployed, but they're going to be cutting the CERB benefits next month. So how are people supposed to live? There's no work and there are no supports for them. EI isn't sufficient. People are looking and saying, this isn't working, I need something else. And they're looking at us. And we're very happy to welcome working people and the unemployed into our party because we are a party for working people. We don't represent big capital or big corporations. No. We represent working people. And we need to be bigger. We need to be stronger. We need to elect people sooner or later.
Elizabeth, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for the interview.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਸੁਨੇ ਐਲਿਜ਼ਬeth ਰੌਲੇ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਸਟ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਆਫ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਹਨ ਔਰ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਜੋ ਵਿਸ਼ੇਸ਼ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਜੋ ਲੋਕ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਜਾਰੀ ਰੱਖਾਂਗੇ।